One of the things that's very important for all of us is to be able to be in charge of our lives, to engage in what we call environmental mastery, to make it happen, to choose a goal, to decide a route, to be able to figure out the important parameters. I always think about a gentleman I worked for named Roger Ailes. He brought up a television studio. He had a vision. He wanted to develop an all-talk network. And he sold that idea after much, much, much pushing to NBC. And so in 1994, an NBC cable station called America's Talking came on the air. The network employed about 150 people. It employed people as janitors, as electricians, as sound technicians, as hosts, producers, directors, and so on. Before the network went on the air, Roger Ailes called a meeting of all 150 people. And he delivered a speech and a presentation which was the most incredible environmental mastery I have ever seen. He wanted this group to work together in harmony. He wanted to build a network of community-oriented people. He wanted everybody to be there to help each other, and he wanted everybody to feel good about what they did. And so at this meeting, he pointed to several people and said, "Do you know why you're here?" And people looked, "Well, I guess you hired me." And he said, "You're here because you're the best at what you do. We interviewed a lot of people for your job, but we hired you." That's called making people feel special. And he only did it to 3 or 4 people, but because everybody in that audience had been hired, everybody felt great. He then laid down the parameters of the job. He said, "I'm an easy guy to work for. As long as you do 2 things. You give me 110% every day, and you do not lie. You only make matters worse. I respect people who can make a mistake and then recover from it, report it to the appropriate authority, and fix the problem." During the time that network was on the air, we met every Friday, whoever was not working, from 11 to 12. And Roger Ailes would tell us how good the network was doing. And he would point to 1 or 2 people and he would say, "Thank you for coming in on your day off. We really needed you to make that program work." Or, "You know, your coverage of the Oklahoma City bombing was better than any major network." People left there walking on air. The amount of people who were fired in the 2 years we were on the air was 0. There was almost nobody was out sick. If you were out sick, you wanted to come in because you wanted to do 110% for Roger. The moral of the story is, by making people feel good about themselves, making people feel good about what they're doing, rewarding appropriate behavior, setting the parameters for what you want, you have an incredibly successful network. That network, America's Talking, went off the air in July of 1996. It was replaced by MSNBC. Do you know that 22 years later, 2018, there is still a website and still a Facebook page on America's Talking? And we folks who worked together for those 2 years still talk to each other. It was a fabulous experience, and it was a learning experience for everybody who said, "I can make happen what I want to happen. I'm going to be like Roger."
That's great.